coach. Just how's it feel? You know the draw, you know kind of the path now.
I think the weight was the worst part, and so no matter who you're going to play round one, it's going to be a tough matchup. All these teams earn their way into the tournament one way or another. The wait was just excruciating, and it wasn't even that long. We played just a couple days ago. I'm proud of this team for earning a 3 seed. That's a reflection of a body of work over 3 months or so. And what we just talked about, the team is even more than that, because in order to be successful at the beginning of the year, you need to come in fit, and that was probably 3 months of hard work in the summer on your own. And so to earn a 3 seed, that's the highest I've ever been placed, is already a great start. We have our work cut out for us, but I have a lot of confidence in this group, and we'll see how long we can keep playing.
Do you know anything about Cal Baptist? It's obviously a fairly new D1 program, and just what do you know about them, if anything?
I know they beat Utah Valley in the conference final. We played Utah Valley earlier in the year, and so we were watching them pretty closely. We went into our game, and Utah Valley was up 2-0, and then afterwards I was disappointed. I was sad from our own game, and I'm like, Utah Valley ended up winning. And they're like, no, Cal Baptist came back and they won in PKs. And so haven't watched the film yet. I think myself and honestly more so like Tyler, Daniel, Tiffany, they're more responsible for the scout. They do all the hard work, and so they're probably already going to their computers to start watching Cal Baptist play. We'll learn a lot more about them. Usually a West Coast team has a certain style of play. I have no idea if it's going to show up this time, but I'm sure they're going to be a great opponent. And what I just told the team is whatever they're doing from probably about this moment until kickoff at Rock Chalk is preparing to try to beat us. And that can look in a lot of different ways, but we have to expect that they're going to know all of our tendencies and try to take away the things that we do most naturally. And that's a fun time. The thing about this time of year, there's no tomorrow if you lose, so everyone puts everything they got into the preparation.
When you say a West Coast team has a certain style of play, what do you mean?
More often than not, those teams out there pride themselves on being possession based. If you go watch club soccer and you go watch a SoCal team versus a Northeast, team, they value the ball more so in general out west. The pace of play is a little bit slower, could be more deliberate, but like when we played some of those teams, that's not necessarily the case at team for team. It's a generalization. I think that would be unfair to put on that team right now.
It seemed like last year so much just joy to get in. Do you feel like it's different this year, whether that's because you're hosting or just because you've been there now, from your team, that is?
Yeah, I think day one when I was hired here, I put out that I don't know how realistic it is, but we're going to try to get to the NCAA tournament year one. And I think maybe us as a coaching staff had more belief in that possibility than anyone else. And so when we got there, it was still so special and surprising the way it happened. But I think it was just a completely new experience for the team. I know just from having conversations with them that most of them, it wasn't on their radar kind of how this all works. Whether it's the RPI, the selection, the seeding, the cadence of the games. And last year we got thrown in the deep end a little bit. I think as we transitioned from last year to this year, one of our goals was to come back. And so from day one, that's something we were working toward. And I'm so proud and happy that we accomplished it. But I think the players, know what's coming a little bit more. It's our first home match doing it. I feel so disappointed sometimes I don't think we've played our best at Rock Chalk yet, and the fans keep coming out and supporting us, and I keep on wanting to give them that hallmark performance. I think we've done some good ones. I think that Florida State game was, was really, we emptied the tank on that one, and I thought Kansas State, go home 4-1 in a rivalry game is great, but I think we also left a few on the table, and so this could be our last match at home, probably our last match at home, and so we're going to ask the community to come support us, and we're going to do our best to make them proud.
It seemed like the success you guys had in the non-conference really buoyed your RPI as the late season approached. Obviously you had to play the games, but how much of that was just attributed to the way you guys scheduled?
Yeah, we schedule with intentionality. With RPI being such a big factor in all this stuff, it's my opinion that you have to take into consideration a little bit. It's easier said than done, right? So finding teams that want to play you, usually being willing to travel, and then like said, going to win games. You know, I had a confidence that those teams were good. We played at the beginning of the year. I think I said it in front of some media that we were sitting at 5-0 at one point, and we weren't ranked, and no one was really talking about us. But I'm like, our 5-0 is about as good as anyone's, and I think people will see that. And then now you look back, South Dakota State would look like a 1-0 kind of throwaway win. Well, they just won their conference, you know. Liberty just won their conference. I think they've won 10 in a row. Utah Valley won like 10 in a row, lost in PKs in the final, and still got in as in a barge. Utah State just won their conference tournament. And so I haven't done the math, but I think we've played something like 10 plus teams, and I think that half of our games have probably been against tournament teams. And so we're battle tested. You know, we've played a lot of different styles. We've played teams that you know, are probably game planning against us. We've played teams that just, you know, we're confident that they're better and wouldn't try to impose on us. And that broad array of experiences hopefully, you know, sets us up for what could potentially be to come.
Hey, when you talked a minute ago about the body of work of this season, I wonder if you can reflect on the body of work of both seasons.
Yeah.
You said you put it out there that was your goal year one, you did it, and now this thing behind you says back to back. Have you had a moment to reflect on that you've actually done this year, and what does it mean to you and to the future of this program?
It's not my strength. You know, in the off season I'm okay at it, but during season you're just trying to survive and get game to game, and you know, there's so much work that gets done in between games. The person that helps me appreciate that the most is my wife Emily, who's sitting back there in the corner. You know, she always is like, hey, like take a moment and enjoy it. You know, going to back-to-back championship games is not easy, especially in a team with 16 conference with 16 teams. And right now, this year, the second best conference in the country. I think that's pretty special. You know, you don't luck into those things. You have to get there in the first place with only half the teams even qualifying. And then last year, having to win 3 games even to get to the finals. This year, again, 2, both against teams in the tournament, both against teams that were, I think, top 10 RPI. So, you know, what this team's been able to do and the consistency is something that we pride ourselves on, something that we as coaching staff wanted to bring. You know, when I was first hired, the thing I was probably most proud of at my previous stop is the consistency that we were able to do at a place that it wasn't that simple to do it. I think this is year 5 for us as coaching staff in a row, being able to compete in the NCAA tournament, and we don't take anything for granted. It's hard. You know, we're exhausted this time of year from just trying to get here. What's nice is it's pretty easy to find the motivation and energy at this point when all these games are special for me.